Everything you consume passes through a single bottleneck. Matter moves from the gastrointestinal tract, filters into the portal vein, and surges directly into the liver before it is allowed to reach the rest of the body. The common conception of the liver as a biological sponge or a passive filter is incorrect. It is the most complex biochemical factory in the human body, continuously executing over 500 distinct functions. If those functions cease, the consequences are immediate. Without a working liver, a human dies rapidly from a systemic buildup of neurotoxins, uncontrolled internal bleeding, or severe hypoglycemia. To understand how the organ prevents this, we can map its operations across 4 functional pillars. The first is the metabolic engine, which dictates how all systemic energy is processed and distributed. The second is the manufacturing hub, responsible for synthesizing the critical fluids and proteins that keep the cardiovascular and digestive systems physically intact. The third is the detoxification and clearance center, an active, chemically aggressive neutralization facility. And the fourth is the storage vault, a deep reserve of long-term nutritional supplies. Evaluating these 4 pillars replaces the outdated image of a passive waste trap with the reality of a proactive engine actively maintaining human homeostasis. Zooming in to the hepatic cellular level, the portal vein acts as the ultimate metabolic checkpoint. The liver evaluates the incoming nutrients and dictates the body's energy state. This flowchart illustrates the first phase of carbohydrate regulation, glycogenesis. Glycogenesis is the process of converting loose blood sugar into a stored form. When blood sugar spikes, the liver extracts the excess glucose, links it together into dense chains called glycogen, and stores it, protecting the body from hyperglycemia. When you fast or exert energy, systemic blood sugar drops. To prevent an energy crash, the liver initiates glycogenolysis. It breaks those chains back apart, releasing free glucose into the bloodstream to stabilize your levels. If those glycogen reserves run completely empty, the liver activates an extreme emergency protocol, gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis is the metabolic pathway that generates completely new glucose molecules by synthesizing them from raw amino acids and fats. Energy production also relies on protein metabolism. The liver strips amino acids down for fuel, but this process creates a highly dangerous byproduct, ammonia, a compound that is severely toxic to the human brain. To prevent cerebral damage, the liver executes the urea cycle. The urea cycle is a sequence of biochemical reactions that instantly converts neurotoxic ammonia into a harmless substance called urea, which is then sent to the kidneys for safe excretion. Simultaneously, the liver orchestrates lipid metabolism. It synthesizes cholesterol and packages it into specific lipoproteins, primarily LDL and HDL. Lipoproteins are complex particles that transport fat molecules through the water-based bloodstream to tissues that need them. Without this constant, automated toggling between glucose storage, synthesis, and toxic byproduct neutralization, the human body would rapidly oscillate between lethal energy crashes and acute cerebral toxicity. Beyond energy processing, the liver operates as a heavy physical manufacturing hub, producing the essential biological fluids required for survival. Every day, the liver produces between 800 and 1,000 milliliters of bile. Bile is a digestive fluid specifically designed to emulsify dietary fats, breaking large fat clusters down into microscopic droplets. Without this constant bile production, your intestines are physically incapable of absorbing fat-soluble nutrients, specifically vitamins A, D, E, and K. This diagram shows a cross-section of a blood vessel to illustrate a concept called oncotic pressure. The liver manufactures albumin, the most abundant protein in your blood. Albumin generates oncotic pressure, which is the pulling force that acts like a chemical sponge, physically holding water inside your blood vessels and preventing it from leaking out. When a failing liver stops producing albumin, that pressure vanishes. Water begins leaking outward from the vascular system, pooling into the abdominal cavity, a condition known as ascites, and swelling the surrounding tissues, known as edema. The liver is also responsible for synthesizing nearly all the proteins that dictate blood coagulation. Ignoring this leads to a major blind spot in assessing liver disease. A damaged liver means a severe deficit in clotting factors, resulting in a drastically high risk of uncontrolled, fatal hemorrhage from even minor internal injuries. Liver disease is rapidly lethal because it physically dismantles the cardiovascular system, causing the vessels to leak fluid and the blood to lose its ability to clot. This brings us to the clearance process and the commercial misconception of detox teas and juice cleanses. These products are biological nonsense. The liver does not act as a dirty sponge that stores toxins over time. You cannot cleanse your liver because the liver itself is the cleanse. This diagram illustrates phase 1 detoxification, known as modification. Here, lipid-soluble toxic substances encounter cytochrome P450. Cytochrome P450 is a massive family of enzymes that chemically alter the structure of foreign compounds to make them slightly more water-soluble. The counterintuitive reality of phase 1 is that this intermediate enzymatic step often makes the substance temporarily more toxic and highly volatile. To neutralize this, the organ immediately initiates phase 2, conjugation. The liver attaches a secondary molecule, like glutathione or sulfate, directly to the volatile toxin, stabilizing its structure entirely. This phase 2 conjugation makes the newly formed compound highly water-soluble, allowing it to be safely and immediately flushed out of the body via urine or bile. In addition to this chemical modification, the liver deploys Kupffer cells. Kupffer cells are specialized macrophages, or white blood cells, stationed within the liver that actively hunt and destroy blood-borne bacteria and dead cellular debris. Hepatic clearance is a highly specific, active chemical conversion. If this two-phase system fails, passive lemon water flushes will not help. The patient requires immediate medical intervention. The fourth and final structural pillar is the liver's role as an internal nutritional vault, protecting the body against sudden, severe dietary shortages. We have already mapped its use of glycogen as the immediate, rapid deployment energy reserve for stabilizing daily blood sugar. This chart displays the liver's massive quantitative capacity for long-term vitamin storage. It retains enough vitamin A to supply the body for up to 2 years, vitamin D for up to 4 months, and vitamin B12 for up to 3 years. It also stockpiles critical minerals, storing copper and hoarding iron in a complex called ferritin. Ferritin is a spherical protein that stores iron in a non-toxic form, releasing it strictly when systemic blood levels drop. This vault function operates as the body's ultimate biological insurance policy. It is capable of sustaining critical physiological functions through months or even years of severe malnutrition. Looking at the complete model, we see a single organ simultaneously operating as a metabolic regulator, a synthetic factory, a chemical neutralizer, and a nutritional vault. But the liver possesses one final biological capability that separates it from every other internal solid organ in the human body: the capacity for natural regeneration. The liver can completely regrow its missing mass, expanding back to its original size, even if 70% of its tissue is surgically removed. There is a strict physiological caveat to this process. For the organ to rebuild itself, the remaining 30% of the tissue must be entirely healthy and free of advanced disease. This highly resilient, self-healing biochemistry stands in sharp contrast to the systemic fragility caused by modern external interventions, extreme diets, and commercial cleanses that ignore these first principles. The liver does not need commercial detoxification. It requires basic physiological respect and metabolic support. Given that, its 500-function biochemical engine will do exactly what it evolved to do: keep you alive.